When she first heard about an offer to go to Seattle Central College at no charge, 17-year-old Garfield High senior Jessie Nguyen didn't believe it.
I thought it wasn't real, to be honest. I was thinking, like, this can't be a thing. Who gets free college tuition in our society today?
Jessie, born in the U.S. to parents who immigrated from Vietnam, says she and thousands of other Seattle students have been dealing with a serious high school hurdle.
I know some kids who are just discouraged and think, man, I'm never going to get into college.
For the past 9 years, the 13th Year Promise Scholarship Program, endowed by the South Seattle College Foundation, has provided a boost. It has paid for the first year of tuition to South Seattle College for 500 students from Cleveland, Chief Sealth, and Rainier Beach high schools. Last year, with help from the City of Seattle, the program expanded to include kids from West Seattle, Garfield, and Ingram high schools, linking them now to any of the 3 Seattle colleges.
That would encourage them to maybe continue pursuing education so that they can fill in all the job holes that we have here in Seattle and help push the economy here.
That economic push is key for Mayor Jenny Durkan. She signed an executive order days after her election to create the Seattle Promise program, building on the 13th Year Promise Scholarship and expanding it.
It really changes lives, and it'll change our city for the better.
Durkan has promised a second year of tuition payments to current 13th year scholars, and by fall 2019, wants to offer 2 years of free tuition to any Seattle Public High School graduate.
The long-term solution to affordability is to make sure we have real economic prosperity that's shared. And it is clear that giving kids the opportunity to go to college is one of the routes to do that.
Studies show educational opportunity has a direct impact on Seattle's economy. The head of the city's Department of Education and Early Learning, Dwayne Chappelle, points to some sobering research about our local job market in the year 2020.
70% of the jobs here in the city of Seattle are going to require some type of post-secondary certificate.
Yet research also shows 1 out of 4 Seattle students does not pursue any post-high school education, a number that's closer to 1 out of 3 for low-income kids or kids of color.
We talk about it in our work about passing the baton. How do we make sure that a student moves successfully from elementary to middle to high school, and now high school to college?
Superintendent Larry Nyland says he's excited to promote the Seattle Promise in Seattle Public Schools. But there are some concerns about the program, too.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I have another question.
Some have questioned how the mayor might pay for the Seattle Promise.
And we're going to look at a number of things, from the Seattle and Family Education Levy to looking at the soda pop tax to looking at other revenues that we have.
It is a combination of private dollars, city dollars, and college dollars that make this program work.
Dr. Sheila Edwards-Lang, president of Seattle Central College, says the Seattle Promise program will be looking at several financial options to make sure it's sustainable for today's scholars and those graduating 50 years from now.
You have to have a steady funding source. So while the levy funding may be considered, it is one of many other sources that we're looking at.
The mayor says the Seattle Promise will not impact the city's other funding priorities.
It's not one or the other. We've got to do it all.
And she says the Seattle Promise will yield some major dividends for a relatively minor investment.
Built out, it's about $7 million a year. We have a $5 billion budget. We can afford for our kids to have this opportunity and to build this kind of economic prosperity for Seattle.
I think it would have a huge impact.
It's a promise Jessie Nguyen is eager to see fulfilled by the city of Seattle. In the future, she wants to build an app that would provide better language translation services,
so that people who have access to technology and things like that can better access that sort of assistance in their everyday life.
It's a noble goal, much like the Seattle Promise itself, a proposal that's going to need cooperation and a payment plan to help students like Jessie live their dreams.
The city's giving something to me, and I want to give back, and this inspires me to do a lot more with that.